Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you today about something so simple, yet so powerful, the ability to get control of yourself. You see, the greatest battles we face in life are not outside of us. They are inside of us. They are the battles of our mind, our emotions, our habits, and our choices. If you cannot master yourself, no matter how much knowledge you have, no matter how many opportunities come your way, you will always find yourself defeated, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Control begins with awareness. You must first understand who you are, what you want, and what is holding you back. Too many people live their lives reacting to circumstances instead of responding with purpose. You allow your anger to control you, your fear to control you, your impulses to control you. But control is not about suppressing your feelings. Control is about channeling your energy, your emotions, and your thoughts toward the life you were meant to live. When we look at the challenges in life, we often focus on what is happening around us. We worry about the economy, about difficult people, about missed opportunities, about competition, about circumstances that seem beyond our control. We think that if only the world would change, if only people would behave differently, if only luck were on our side, then life would be easier. But the truth is, the greatest battles you will ever face are not outside of you. They are within you. They are fought in the depths of your mind, in the recesses of your heart, and in the moments when no one else is watching. These are battles that cannot be solved by money, by influence, or by force. They are battles of your thoughts, your fears, your doubts, your anger, your impulses, and your habits. Every great achievement in life begins with an inner victory. If you cannot control your own mind, no amount of wealth or status will bring you peace. If you cannot master your emotions, no amount of praise or success will bring you fulfillment. If you cannot discipline yourself to act according to your purpose, then the external world will always feel like it is working against you. The person who conquers themselves is the person who conquers life, because they are no longer a prisoner of circumstance. They are no longer a victim of fear. They are no longer at the mercy of fleeting emotions or random events. Think about it. When anger rises, when fear strikes, when doubt whispers in your ear, you have a choice. You can give in, and that is when life defeats you quietly. Or you can rise above, and that is when life begins to serve you. Every temptation resisted, every negative thought replaced with a constructive one, every habit transformed from destructive to productive, is a small victory in the war within. These victories may seem invisible to others, but they are the foundation of every visible success. No external accomplishment can compare to the power of mastering yourself, because external victories are temporary, but the victory over your inner world lasts a lifetime. The battle is subtle, yet constant. It is in the decisions you make when no one is watching, in the thoughts you entertain in the silence of your mind, in the words you speak to yourself when you feel weak or defeated. It is in those moments that your character is formed, your resilience is built, and your destiny is shaped. Many people spend their entire lives fighting the world, blaming others, and struggling with circumstances, never realizing that the real enemy is within. Once you recognize that your greatest opponent is yourself, everything changes. You begin to see that the power to succeed, the power to overcome, the power to create the life you desire, has always been in your hands. Every setback, every failure, every painful experience, is an opportunity to confront yourself, to understand your weaknesses, and to emerge stronger. You cannot control every external event, but you can control how you respond, how you think, how you act, and how you grow. And it is in that control, in that discipline, in that mastery over your own mind and emotions, that you discover the true meaning of strength and freedom. Awareness is the foundation of every achievement, every transformation, and every act of self-mastery. You cannot control what you do not understand. You cannot change what you refuse to see. Many people go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations, responding to emotions, and following habits without ever stopping to truly observe themselves. They allow circumstances to dictate their actions, other people's opinions to influence their choices, and fleeting desires to guide their lives. But the moment you become aware, truly aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your patterns, and your tendencies, you take the first step toward freedom. Awareness is not just noticing the world around you, it is noticing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your motivations, and the invisible forces that shape your life. When you are aware, you recognize the moments when fear tries to hold you back, when anger threatens to control you, when impatience tempts you to act in ways you will later regret. Awareness allows you to see the triggers, the habits, and the thoughts that lead you away from your goals. Without awareness, you are like a ship without a compass, drifting wherever the waves and winds of life take you. But with awareness, you begin to chart a course. You begin to understand that your reactions are choices, not inevitabilities. You begin to see that every emotion you feel, every thought you entertain, and every habit you repeat is an opportunity to exercise control, to make decisions that align with your purpose and your values. Awareness requires honesty. It is easy to deceive yourself, to justify your failures, to blame others, and to ignore the truth about who you are and what you allow in your life. But true awareness is fearless. It looks at your flaws without shame, at your weaknesses without excuses, and at your mistakes without denial. When you face yourself with honesty, you gain clarity. You understand why you act the way you do, why you respond in certain patterns, and why your life looks the way it does. And clarity is power because you cannot change what you cannot see. Awareness also brings responsibility. Once you see the choices you are making and the impact of your actions, you can no longer blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck. You begin to take ownership of your life. You begin to understand that the only way to gain control is to first acknowledge where you are out of control. Awareness is the lens through which you view your life, your mind, and your heart, and through that lens, you find the path to self-mastery. Finally, awareness is continuous. It is not a one-time act, it is a lifestyle. Every day, in every situation, in every thought and emotion, you must remain alert, observing yourself and the forces that influence you. With awareness, you start to anticipate your reactions, redirect your energy, and make deliberate choices. You begin to realize that freedom, discipline, and control are not gifts from the outside, they are cultivated from within, through careful observation, reflection, and intentional action. Awareness is the doorway to all progress, the spark that ignites change, and the first decisive step toward mastering your self-discipline is the secret ingredient that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Every goal, every aspiration, every vision you have for your life requires a consistent, committed effort to make it real. Without discipline, talent becomes wasted potential, knowledge becomes forgotten, and opportunities become missed. Discipline is not punishment, it is the pathway to freedom. It is the bridge that connects your current reality with the life you desire. Many people spend their time wishing, hoping, or waiting for external circumstances to align in their favor, but the truth is, success does not come from luck or chance. It comes from the steady, deliberate actions you take day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the path is difficult, and even when the world seems indifferent to your efforts. Discipline is the mastery of self over impulse. It is saying no to what is easy but unproductive, and saying yes to what is challenging but necessary. It is resisting the temptation to procrastinate, to give in to comfort, and to settle for less than you are capable of. Discipline requires you to structure your life, your time, and your actions around your priorities, not your feelings. It demands consistency, focus, and patience because true results are rarely instant. Every hour spent practicing, learning, and improving is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. Every sacrifice, every choice to endure discomfort in the short term for long-term gain, is a step on the bridge between mediocrity and excellence. Discipline is also a mindset. It is understanding that your circumstances do not define you, that setbacks are temporary, and that progress is built through perseverance. It is about taking responsibility for your actions, maintaining your commitments, and refusing to be swayed by momentary emotions or external pressures. A disciplined person does not wait for motivation, they create it through action. They do not wait for perfect conditions, they create them through consistent effort. Discipline turns intention into reality, vision into action, and dreams into tangible outcomes. Another vital aspect of discipline is accountability. When you discipline yourself, you hold yourself to a higher standard than anyone else could demand. You understand that the quality of your life is directly proportional to the effort and consistency you invest in it. Every choice matters, every decision counts, and every action compounds over time. Discipline is not about rigid control for its own sake, it is about building a life of structure, focus, and purpose that allows you to achieve what you were created to accomplish. Discipline also cultivates resilience. Life will challenge you, tempt you, and test your resolve. Discipline is the armor that allows you to stand firm in the face of adversity, to continue moving forward when obstacles appear, and to maintain your course when distractions try to pull you away. It is through disciplined action that you transform setbacks into lessons, weaknesses into strengths, and struggle into triumph. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is not built overnight, but every disciplined decision you make, every intentional action you take, lays another plank on that bridge, bringing your goals within reach, turning aspirations into achievements, and creating the life you were meant to live. Responsibility is the cornerstone of personal power. The moment you stop blaming others, stop making excuses, and start owning your life, you step into a place of authority that no one can take away from you. Many people spend their lives pointing fingers, justifying failures, and insisting that circumstances or other people are the reason they are not succeeding. But the truth is, every choice you make, every thought you entertain, and every action you take contributes to the life you are living right now. Until you accept responsibility for those choices, you will remain a passenger, drifting wherever the winds of circumstance push you, feeling powerless and frustrated. Authority over your life begins when you acknowledge that the power to change, to grow, and to achieve lies within you. Taking responsibility means facing yourself honestly. It means looking at your decisions, your habits, and your mindset and asking the hard questions: where have I fallen short? Where have I held myself back? Where have I avoided doing what I knew needed to be done? Responsibility is not about guilt or self-punishment, it is about clarity and ownership. When you accept that your current situation is largely the result of your own actions, you also recognize that your future is equally within your control. You realize that external circumstances can challenge you, but they do not define you. You are the architect of your own destiny, and the blueprint is created through the choices you make every day. Responsibility also creates freedom. The irony is that many people think responsibility is a burden, but in reality, it is liberation. When you stop waiting for permission, when you stop blaming others, when you stop hoping that someone else will change your circumstances, you free yourself to act, to create, and to lead your own life. You gain the authority to decide your priorities, the discipline to enforce your standards, and the courage to pursue your goals relentlessly. Every time you take ownership of a challenge, every time you admit a mistake, and every time you accept accountability for your actions, you strengthen the muscles of control and authority in your life. Taking responsibility requires courage, because it forces you to confront your weaknesses and failures without excuses. It demands humility, because it requires you to acknowledge when you are wrong. And it demands persistence, because growth and change are not instantaneous. But the rewards are immeasurable. Responsibility transforms fear into confidence, confusion into clarity, and passivity into action. It shifts your perspective from being a victim of life to being the leader of your life. Authority is not given, it is claimed through deliberate, consistent, and courageous ownership of yourself and your choices. When you embrace responsibility, you also set an example for others. You inspire those around you to stop blaming, to stop waiting, and to take ownership of their own lives. Responsibility is contagious, and it builds respect, trust, and credibility. The more you demonstrate control over your actions and choices, the more influence you have, the more opportunities you create, and the more powerful you become. Life rewards those who claim their authority through responsibility, because they are no longer controlled by circumstance, other people, or fleeting emotions, but are empowered to shape their reality, pursue their purpose, and achieve the greatness they were created to live. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess. It is the garden in which the seeds of your future are planted. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, and every emotion you nurture is like a seed that will grow into your reality. If you allow fear, doubt, and negativity to take root, you will harvest struggle, frustration, and failure. But if you deliberately plant seeds of positivity, discipline, and focus, you will cultivate a life of success, fulfillment, and purpose. The quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. Just as a garden left unattended will be overrun with weeds, your mind left uncontrolled will be overtaken by distractions, destructive patterns, and harmful habits. Positivity is the first seed you must plant. Positive thoughts are not naive optimism, they are the deliberate choice to see possibilities, to recognize potential, and to believe in your ability to overcome challenges. Positivity reshapes your perspective, enabling you to approach obstacles as opportunities and setbacks as lessons. When you cultivate a positive mindset, you attract solutions, foster creativity, and inspire resilience. Every negative thought you replace with a constructive one strengthens your mental soil, allowing your dreams and goals to grow stronger, deeper, and more vibrant. Discipline is the second seed that must be nurtured in your mental garden. Discipline governs the way you think, act, and respond to life. It ensures that your mind remains focused on what truly matters and prevents it from being swayed by temporary pleasures, fears, or distractions. Discipline allows you to follow through on your commitments, develop healthy habits, and make consistent progress toward your goals. It is the water that nourishes your seeds of positivity and ensures that your mental garden produces sustainable results. Without discipline, your garden will struggle to thrive, no matter how fertile the soil of your mind may be. Focus is the third essential seed. Focus gives direction to your thoughts and energy. It prevents your mind from scattering in multiple directions and wasting its power on trivial matters. Focus helps you prioritize, plan, and act with intention. It allows you to channel your positivity and discipline into productive action, transforming abstract goals into tangible outcomes. A focused mind is like a garden carefully tended, with each plant in its proper place, growing in harmony, and reaching its fullest potential. Weeds in the mind, doubts, fears, resentment, and negativity, will always try to grow. They will appear in moments of stress, uncertainty, or temptation. You must be vigilant, removing these weeds as soon as they appear, replacing them with seeds that empower, strengthen, and uplift you. Regular reflection, mindfulness, and self-awareness are the tools that allow you to maintain your mental garden and ensure that your thoughts consistently produce growth, strength, and success. When you intentionally plant positivity, discipline, and focus in your mind, you not only change your thoughts but transform your life. Your garden becomes a sanctuary of strength, clarity, and vision. You gain the ability to overcome challenges with resilience, to make decisions with wisdom, and to create a reality that aligns with your highest purpose. The seeds you plant today, nurtured consistently, will determine the harvest you enjoy tomorrow. Success is not something that happens by accident, and it is not determined solely by talent, opportunity, or external circumstances. True success begins on the inside, with mastery over your own mind, your emotions, and your actions. Too many people look outward for solutions, hoping that conditions, luck, or other people will create the life they desire. But the reality is, nothing in the outside world can replace the power of inner mastery. When you take control of your thoughts, you shape your perception of reality. When you take control of your emotions, you regulate your responses to challenges. And when you take control of your actions, you create consistent momentum toward your goals. Mastery in these three areas is the foundation upon which all lasting success is built. Your thoughts are the starting point. Everything you see, do, or achieve begins with a thought. Your mind is a workshop where your reality is first constructed. If your thoughts are chaotic, negative, or uncertain, your life will reflect that confusion. If your thoughts are disciplined, focused, and intentional, your life will. Begin to align with your purpose. Mastery of thought requires awareness, reflection, and a deliberate choice to think constructively. It means replacing self-doubt with self-belief, fear with faith, and distraction with clarity. Every great achievement in history started with a mind that refused to be passive, a mind that cultivated ideas with intention, and a mind that refused to allow negativity or limitation to take root. Equally important is mastery over your emotions. Emotions are powerful forces that influence your decisions, your habits, and your relationships. When you allow fear, anger, impatience, or discouragement to control you, you give away your power and surrender to circumstances. But when you develop emotional mastery, you are able to respond rather than react, to remain calm in the face of pressure, and to maintain focus even when challenges arise. Emotional mastery does not mean ignoring your feelings, it means understanding them, regulating them, and using them to fuel your progress rather than hinder it. The person who controls their emotions is no longer a victim of life's storms but a captain who navigates through them with confidence and resilience. Finally, mastery of action is where success becomes tangible. Your thoughts and emotions are valuable only when translated into deliberate, consistent, and purposeful action. Action bridges the gap between intention and result. It is not enough to think positively or manage your emotions, you must act with discipline, persistence, and focus. Mastery of action requires consistency, patience, and courage. It means showing up every day, doing what needs to be done, even when motivation is low, and refusing to allow procrastination or fear to dictate your behavior. Success rewards those who act decisively and persistently, and every step taken with intentionality builds momentum toward the life you desire. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you create a powerful synergy. You no longer live at the mercy of circumstance, impulsive reactions, or fleeting desires. Instead, you operate from a place of control, purpose, and deliberate design. Success is not a distant goal or a matter of luck, it is the natural outcome of mastering yourself, governing your mind, regulating your emotions, and committing to consistent, intentional action. This mastery transforms obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and potential into achievement.